Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Good afternoon to everyone. I appreciate you taking some of your day to talk to me about the upcoming season. I'm looking forward to sharing some information on behalf of the club and the coaches. Really excited about this opportunity, and I want to be thankful to you all for being part of it. Super grateful to all the staff at ASG as well for all the hard work that they put in to make this happen. So I'd like to say welcome to the U13 through U19 MLS Next Academy division. My name is Joel DeCastri. I'm the new or the current MLS Associate Director for this division. I know most of the people that are on this chat, but we do have a lot of new players and new families joining our club. So I'd like to say welcome to you guys. We look forward to working with you on and off the pitch for what is going to be an exciting season. Going to try and not keep you guys here for too long. In terms of questions, you can put them on the chat to me. I will do my best to answer those questions, hopefully within this presentation. If the questions aren't answered within the presentation, then I will either get to them at the end of this, or if there's a lot of the same questions, then we will get back to you in our next communication. So firstly, I'd like to start by saying how grateful I am and thankful for you guys and how patient you've been with us as we've gone through this process. There's been a lot of changes that have happened to the club, and I know that it hasn't always been easy during these last few months, but I just want to say thank you very much to all the families for their grace as you've worked with us. The information that we've been sharing with you has also been coming directly from MLS. This is brand new to them as well. So by no means is that an excuse, but at the same time, the information that we've been receiving has been coming to you as we've been receiving it for MLS and their new 600 teams part of this program. So I'm not going to become a glorified sign reader. I'm sure most of the people on this chat can read. So I'm going to give you some time to look over the presentation, but I'm also going to just highlight a couple of things in terms of what I see, depending on each slide, just to give you a little bit more information. If you're new to the club, I would just like to really point you towards the third point, which is maximizing a player's growth in a team structure while fostering a positive experience in which they develop relationships, a good work ethic, sound judgment, and the values necessary for productive lives. That is something that ASG has been about in the time that I've worked for them and in the time that they've been in this community. And as you can see by the logo located on the right-hand side, they are entering into their 35th year. And I think as much as we talk a lot about soccer and we talk about a lot of how we can progress these players on the pitch, I think ultimately that point is the most valid because we are trying to develop young people here that go on to have these productive lives. So again, I think that's a main staple of ASG since the time I've been with the club and also in the 35 years that they have existed. Okay, in terms of our club philosophy, we're going to go over some things on and off the pitch today, but we're not going to get too bogged down with regards to how we play or what we do on the pitch. That will be translated further on in this presentation, but also it will be given more information from your coaches directly. Again, I think encouraging long-term loyalty to the club and the game has been a massive facet of what the Warners do. And I think something that I brought along with the coaching team is we developed a further pathway where players can participate in club activities until adulthood. And I think we are really unique in town for that. We have the affiliation with Tallahassee Soccer Club for the players that do want to continue their careers well into their adulthood in a more higher level. But then also kudos to Melissa. We also have recreational adult soccer and some competitive soccer leagues. So I think that ASG continues to be a full service club, and that has really been the philosophy throughout for this club for the 35 years. Okay, so MLS next. A new era is here. A lot of hard work, went into getting this label, countless conversations between Andy, the coaches, as well as the MLS staff. So we're super excited to be able to secure this for the community. It was no easy feat. We had to hit a lot of standard points, and we've managed to do so. So we're really excited that you guys are going to be a part of this. And again, extremely grateful to the club for making this happen. So here's some of the league highlights, the club by club model. A lot of this information was also shared in the pathway brochure, which I will send links to again if needs be. But the club by club model allows for us to have this super settled schedule, which I know has haunted a lot of this area for several years. So having the ability to travel as a club with a secure schedule just means that now when we do release this schedule today and moving forward, this will be the schedule for the rest of the season. And I think that is not only great for what we do on the field and all soccer wise, but that's also great for you and your family, giving you the opportunity to go ahead and plan other events as well. We're going to be in the South Division, so that includes Georgia, Alabama, and Tennessee. And then we will also have regional competitions where we'll go down to Orlando, where we'll get to experience the Florida teams as well. So I think obviously us being in the middle of these two areas is really good in the fact that now we're going to get exposure to several different teams and hopefully several different levels. Access also to the MLS Next Fest, which is a world-renowned tournament. All of our games, home and away, will be recorded. VOs will be supplied by the club this season. All the games at home will be recorded by us, and when we're away, the opponents will record the games and they will be shared. This will allow us to be playful with some marketing content as well as with our players and you guys as families. And it'll also be used for some tactical breakdowns and team meetings, which I think not only are fun, but also very useful for the players and the teams involved. One of the massive selling points, and as part of the conversation we have with MLS, is appreciating how important high school soccer is here in Florida. So there will be no league games during the high school season, and this was a huge thing for us, and we appreciate MLS Next for working with us and getting that done. The last point I want to make on this is this really is just the beginning, right? So we are in the MLS Academy division. There is also the MLS Homegrown division. I think we are right at the starting point of this, but there is that opportunity for our club to develop and grow and travel through the levels, which I think is also really exciting for us. Okay, here's our opponents for the league. Again, I am not going to read all of those opponents. What I will say is that small type right at the bottom is we will not be traveling any more than 4 to 5 hours for the weekend. You will notice the two Tennessee teams in there. We have agreed with both of those clubs as well as the league that we will be meeting at a neutral site to play those games, which will likely be Birmingham, Alabama. But more information will come on that as the schedule does get finalized in this coming week or so. Okay, in terms of the coaches, so I'm really excited to present these coaches. I think they're familiar faces to all of the people on this chat, and if they're not, then I can't speak highly enough of this group of coaches. I've had the pleasure of working with them not only with ASG but also all summer long with Tallahassee Soccer Club. So really having the opportunity to work with this group of people year round. I think that's helped not only make them better, but has also made me a better coach. And so I'm super excited to work with this group. I think how that would translate to our teams is that you will see that you've also had contact points with all of these coaches. And as it relates to the club by club model, when we do go to games all together, I think that really helps us work as a team on location because rather than one coach just coaching a game, we will have several coaches around that can bounce ideas off of one another, as well as helping players and teams in the flow. I'm going to apologize in advance. I do not, even though I tried, I do not have a picture for Arnie. We were searching the archives on Arnie, but we couldn't find one. So I apologize in advance. Couple of changes. We have decided that Coach Brian will go and work with the 2011 group, and Mason will now work with the 2010s. And I think one of the drivers behind that was the ability just to, again, let both sets of those players have a different voice. But then also at some point during the season, whether it be at training and also games, familiarize themselves with the same coaches they had that last season. I just think that gives us again the ability to work really well as a team, and it means that the players can have maximum input and also maximum advice from all of our coaches, which again just makes for a better relationship across the board. All right, this is our assistant coaches, for which we're super grateful for. We have a more to follow as the people come back from vacation and we finish off those final conversations. But just like to welcome back our volunteer assistant coaches. Extremely grateful to them for all the things that they do for us in the club. Talking of all the things that people do for the club, so now just moving on to our liaisons. Liaisons again that we are very lucky to have. We do have an opening right now for the oldest age group. So if anybody is interested and brave enough, I mean smart enough to come and join that group, then please contact me directly. We are looking for somebody to step in and help out there. On the left-hand side of the slide, just want to couple of reminders as we go through and just talk about some of the etiquette and some of the guidelines that we try to set in place in terms of our expectations as a club. This is what the team liaison is responsible for. If you do have any conflicts or you do have any issues with training or games, then please go to the coach to talk to them about that rather than the liaison. It's just important for the coach to know what's going on in terms of planning for training, as well as obviously planning for game days. Okay, in terms of rounding off our coaches and staff, I think there's lots of familiar faces on there. The director of coaching, just in case you didn't know, is Andy Warner. He is the person in charge of the club. He's the man that started this along with his sister Beverly Warner 35 years ago. So again, looking forward to working with all these people, extremely personable people and always ready to help should you need them. Okay, again, I spoke about not touching too much to do with all of these expectations, as I think this information can come in as we start the new season and can come in small doses. What I've said here is simple to be successful. So we're just going to talk about a few things on the pitch from the perspective of expectations from us as coaches, the parents, and also the players. We expect the coaches to train the three moments relating to the development of players' technical, social, soccer, and emotional IQ. What we mean by that is keep training relatable to the game in as many phases or those three phases in order to prepare them to do the right stuff on the pitch when it comes to the game time. I think another important point for the coaches is to adapt to the level and temperament of the team in order to sustain success. That's why I think it will be important for you to hear from your coaches, not only at the beginning of the season, but throughout the season as they work with the teams and get to know the people even more. In terms of the parents, just one red flag for you, just interactions with the game officials. There has been a lot of new rules put in place. I know it's not always easy. Trust me, we're coaches. We experience the same feelings you do about the officials sometimes. But at the end of the day, it's zero tolerance moving forward with the officials, and you will be taken away from the field and you will be reprimanded pretty quickly. So again, I think if we're looking for good role models and to try and set a good example as coaches, and I think also as parents, we can try to do a better job of just avoiding those interactions with the referees at all times if possible. Um, I like the top one as well. Be a fan, not a coach. You will enjoy it more. Sometimes I feel we all get caught up in the heat of the game. Sometimes if we just sit back, cheer on the action, whether it always sometimes go our way or whether it doesn't go our way, just be a fan and you might enjoy yourself even more. The last one about the parents is just also allowing space for reflection after games and training. It's very tempting for us to talk to the kids right away after games in particular, try and get out what they didn't do, what they did do. But I think also just allowing players the time to go through their own reflection process might just benefit that conversation later on. In terms of the players, again, very self-explicable. We will go through this with them, but I point to running and effort as a non-negotiable. Sounds again very simple, but it is also very successful if done well. Be coachable and a good teammate. And I think that the third one has always been a trait within any of my teams, and that is to learn to be humble, focused, and adaptable. I think you'll see there I put the word learn. So we understand it's not always going to be easy, but we're trying to teach young men and young boys how to learn to do these things. Off the pitch, again, just going to give you a little bit of time just to read through those. I will pick up on a couple. So in terms of coaches, we are going to do post-event communication within 48 hours of a game or a tournament. I think this is important just so that you know what the coach were seeing for the game, and then also get an understanding, perhaps if you do observe training, what we're going to try and achieve that next week in the training. And just I think always communication between coach and parents is important at the right time, just so everybody has an understanding of what we're all trying to achieve. In return, parents, we talk about that 48-hour rules. We know that sometimes things can be bumpy throughout the season, and when we're dealing with your most precious prize, that emotions can run high, particularly after games, particularly after it's been a tough game, whether it be playing time, whether it be performance, whether it even be the result. But we do ask that you just take a deep breath, do some self-reflection, and then by all means contact your coach initially within, after 48 hours. But I think everybody achieves a little bit more when they're calmer and thinking a little bit more straight. And one last thing on the parents that is very helpful is the timely communication in terms of your availability. Okay, just scanning through this real quick. This is a game model for us. Just some of the things that we try to work on in training. Again, we will have further meetings, whether it be Zoom or whether it be in person with the players to begin to introduce these things to the players this season. It's going to take some time, but we will give you an idea of what we're trying to achieve on the pitch. Here you will see we consider, well, 5 moments in the game. The 4 moments in the flow are the attacking, defending, and then the transition to do both. And I think the fifth moment in the game is the set pieces. So again, this is just a very basic outline of our game model. We have this in a little bit more detail, but I wanted to share with you what we're trying to achieve as a club and as a group of coaches with your players this season. Okay, schedules. I know you wanted this, so this is where we'll go. All of this information will be shared in this presentation, and then also with the team liaisons, and all the team snaps will be updated. So just again wanted to give you an idea of MLS um, and just see what we've got going on in terms of their schedule and how all the programs are beginning to mirroring with each other. But then let's move on. So as you can see, the format, generally speaking, will be a Saturday afternoon game and a Sunday morning game. That may allow us just for a one-night hotel stay. So we'll be leaving Saturday morning for afternoon games and then early Sunday morning so we can get on the road and get home safely Saturday afternoon. Availability for your games, when they're put onto the schedule, please mark availability, excuse me, immediately. That just helps us with planning. Times, locations are all still pending. The good news is I do have another MLS Next meeting after this one, actually. So I'm excited to get more information. As I do, I will share it with you. Here is the spring. As you'll notice, there is no high school league games in the spring. We will fill that in with some showcases and some tournaments. And more information will be relayed to those teams as we get closer to the start date. Tournaments, just going to touch base on this quickly. MLS Next Fest is going to be by selection only. Again, I will give more information about that. That will depend on your availability, but then also depending on what the coaches and directors choose in terms of the team. This will be held early December. No date or official location has been released yet. The only other one I want to bring to your attention is the region. This is during the high school season, but it is a mandatory event where we will go to Orlando and all of our teams will be expected to participate in what we think will be an exciting tournament against some of the big clubs in Florida. Training schedule starting August 5th. Field numbers will be released in due course, just as we're finishing off, but the locations are there and that won't change. The only thing we ask about training is that it's an extension of the game and that we also will sometimes have to change training times or locations, and we will try to give our best as notice, but just bear in mind that that will happen. Okay, a little bit about I'm also the head coach of Tallahassee Soccer Club, and we've had plenty of players come through the system within ASG. It's in its third year now, and it's been awesome. Our second team actually got the opportunity to play in front of 6,000 people, which included several of our younger players throughout our program. So just a unique opportunity. The tryouts for this program are in February, and we encourage all the players interested from around U16, 17 up to come to try out. They will have the opportunity to play against players from all over the country, players that have gone on to play pros, including Mr. Bernstein, who is a former US national team player and has played at a World Cup. So the experiences are endless there, the opportunities are endless there, and it just feeds into the next stage of the development should a player want it. Just a little example of Jeremy, who trained with us. So in the spring, players would get the opportunity to train 4 days a week with a combination of adult and youth soccer. Okay, well, we're running out of time a little bit, so I'm now going to pass you over to Melissa, if I can make this happen. And Melissa's just going to talk to you a little bit about sponsorship. So Melissa, just give me a second.
All right, am I supposed to do my little spiel now?
Yes, please, Melissa.
Okay. Hey everyone, if you don't know me yet, I'm Melissa Alford. I'm doing the communications. I sent out probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'll start with the First Kicks scholarship. If there's any kind of financial assistance that you need, I sent it out a couple weeks ago. Fill out that form. You can email it to me and I will send it off to the person in charge. It's actually Terry from First Kicks. If you are ever available and your kids are old enough, I want to say he said 16 and above, they pay $15 an hour at the concession stands on the weekends. It goes directly towards your account and Terry will bring in a check. So if you work a few hours, $15 an hour, every little bit helps. And you can make money that way, or your child can do that. The sponsorships are all on the website. The 750 is definitely the one that I encourage teams to get to the most. That's the one that goes on the back of the training shirts. That money will go directly towards your teams. Any money left over will then be dispersed. If you have a credit left over, or not a credit, if you have money left over, it'll be given back to the team. And I encourage you to all try to get the 750 because I think that's super helpful. But I think that's it. That's all my little spiel.
All right. Thank you, Melissa. That's all, everybody. Again, if anyone has any questions, please reach out to myself. We will communicate again through our newsletter as well as be available to you guys as we get ready for pre-season and a great season. So wishing everybody a great day. Thank you for joining us and see you soon.